Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, man, it's been a couple of days. I hope y'all miss me out there, man. Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. It's your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, All Pro, record-breaking cornerback. Yeah, that's me. 50 interceptions in 10 years. Mr. Pick Six, we in the building tonight, man. Y'all tap on there, man. Y'all let me know where y'all tapping in from. Y'all talk to me, we talking back. I talk back, you know what I mean? Mr. Say What Needs to Be Said. Hope y'all miss me, man. A couple of days I've been down, chilling, trying to figure a few things out. But hey, welcome back, man. Turn up. 187 Turbo, what they do, what's cracking? Yeah, man, y'all turn up, man. Y'all let me know where y'all coming in from, man. Y'all talk to me, y'all talk back. Like I said, man, we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to vibe on out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Arizona in the building. Rick the Vegan Barber on the West Coast having a good time. You know, the West Coast got the best smoke, baby. Ain't that what they say? Ain't that what they say? We got a few things to talk about and to discuss tonight. And we're going to get into it. You know, we're going to talk about my son, Asante Samuel Jr., what's been going on. Y'all been asking me what's been going on, and I can finally tap in and let y'all know a little inside details and things like that. And we're going to, continue talking about the Shedeur Sanders situation and what we feel about that. How's that going on? And y'all know I got to give Shannon Sharp a hard time. I will be giving Shannon Sharp a hard time. Y'all know what's happening, man. How y'all doing out there tonight? Hope y'all miss me. It's been a few days. You know, I'm trying to jump on this thing every other day if I can. You know what I mean? They just got to give me more to talk about. I got to say what needs to be said. Yeah. So the NFL schedule has been released for the 2025 NFL season, man. What are some exciting games out there? The first game of the season, we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champion, man. It's gonna be an exciting first game, man. It's gonna be lit out there, man. It's gonna be lit. Then you got the Cowboys versus the Chiefs. It's like the Cowboys take over the NFL. They always got the primetime games and things like that, man. You got to change that up. You got a surprise, a team that I'm surprisingly waiting to see and how they're gonna do this year. You got the Jaguars. The Jaguars against the Panthers. Got Travis Hunter, right? He has a good chance against the Panthers to have a breakout season week one, baby. Yes, sir. So the Panthers against the Jaguars week one, man. He has that, Travis Hunter, man. He has the popularity that could take over the NFL, man. His popularity could grow massively for the NFL, man. Travis Hunter has that energy that is contagious, which makes people love to be around him, right? He is a superstar, and he is very marketable for the NFL. And the NFL is going to use him. They're going to use him to market the NFL, and he's going to grow, and he's going to be bigger than ever, especially if he continues and maintains playing both ways. Yes, Travis Hunter. The Jaguars might end up being, one of the top 10 media markets in the NFL. That'll be funny, man. Won't that be funny? But yeah, man, a few games, man, to be looking out for. Y'all know it's going to be exciting NFL. We can't wait to see some football. We tired of watching mini camps and talking about Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders and Dylan Gabriel and all that. We're ready to see some action, man. We're ready to see some action. But y'all let me know where y'all tuning in from. Y'all make sure y'all can hear me. If y'all don't hear me well, then y'all throw an ear emoji in the chat. Let me know something is off, man. Because sometimes I get too excited and I get too hyped, you know? But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about my son. If y'all haven't heard or if y'all didn't know, I've been living under a rock out there. Asante Samuel Jr. is my son. Yes, sir. He played 4 years with the LA Chargers. And we finally have an update on my son, Asante Samuel Jr. Like I say, I know everybody been anxiously waiting for my son to sign with a new team. And of course, man, the beginning of free agency, there were multiple teams waiting to sign Asante. AJ, also known as AJ. And he most recently took a visit to the New Orleans Saints. But where will he play next? Will it be the Saints? Where will it be? And why hasn't he signed a new deal? I know it's a lot of people speculate because when you don't hear things from the horse's mouth, all you can do is speculate. But people didn't realize, or they seem to have forgot that he didn't finish the season last year. He only played, I think, up to week 4, and then he went on IR and things like that. And my son AJ, yeah, he isn't that outspoken type of kid, right? He isn't that outspoken and going to just talk a lot. He's that type of guy, right? He likes to keep to himself, kind of quiet and reserved, right? But he will be open if he knows you, right? And he isn't the one that's just going to talk about his business on social media and what he's going through and let everybody understand what he's dealing with. He'll just keep it to himself. So that left everyone to speculate about AJ's future. Where will he play next? And the news has been out there for a while about what's been going on with him. Like I said, he's been on injury reserve since week 4 of last year, right? Week 5. But it was kind of swept under the rug and not having a direct indication of what was going on, because it was being reported that it was a shoulder injury, right? But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. All right. There it is, man. The bad news. Some of the worst news you want to hear when you're playing in the NFL, right? Asante Samuel Jr. underwent neck surgery in April, visited Saints. So the article goes on. It says, free agent cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. underwent neck surgery in April after missing most of the 2024 season due to injury, according to ESPN Jeremy Fowler. He is planning to play this season, but is waiting until an early July checkup to sign with the new team. Samuel started just 4 games for the Chargers last year before landing on injury reserve, like I said, in October at the end of the season. He said he was dealing with stinger symptoms, right, in both shoulders as a part of a lifelong health condition. Man, I had stingers. I dealt with stingers my whole career, man, and it got worse and worse. And actually, I played for Philly. I played a couple of games with some terrible feeling stingers, and I would just go out there and thug it out with my team. And all they wanted me to do is make sure I didn't let people catch the ball. They just wanted me to go out there and make plays like I usually do. But on the flip side of it, when someone ran my way and I had to shy away from the tackle, people would blame me on the outside, like, why is he doesn't want to tackle X, Y, and Z? All the whole time I'm dealing with a neck injury, and nobody wants to give me any credit for being out there with an injury. They just want to bash me because I don't want to jump in the fire. My darn neck hurt. You feel me? But that's what we go through out there in the NFL. I hope this isn't something hereditary or something that's passed along down the bloodline from dad. Right here in this shoulder right here. I know y'all can't see me. I'll show y'all when I come back. But yeah. So it continued, man. He was dealing with this lifelong health conditioning for a while, man. It is unclear if his neck surgery was related to that ailment. He played in 12 games as a rookie in 2021 and appeared in all 34 of the Charger regular season games in 2022 and 2023. If Samuel's health checks out, he should have multiple suitors as teams put together their training camp rosters. The Saints will likely be one of them. Samuel visited New Orleans on Monday, per Flower. He also visited the Cardinals in March, though that was before the surgery. And then it continues. All right, here's a little deep dive into it. And where do you think he will land, and what team can afford AJ's services? New Orleans Saints make sense as a destination after parting ways with their 2 most experienced cornerbacks in the last year. 2024 starters Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alante Taylor are set to reprise their roles this season, but Samuel would be an upgrade over re-signed slot cornerback Ugo Amandi. Oh man, y'all know I'm bad with names. Samuel could take over at nickel or play on the boundary with Taylor in the slot. Samuel is also familiar with the Saints' new coaching staff. He played under defensive coordinator Brandon Staley when he was with the Chargers head coach from 2021-2023. Samuel, also known Also knows the Saints head coach Kellen Moore from his season as the Chargers offensive coordinator. Right? So the cat's out the bag, the hat's out, you know. It's not a secret anymore. I couldn't say too much, you know. I didn't want to speak about it too much. Of course, I knew what was going on. But as you can see, AJ went through a successful neck surgery. Praise God. Praise God. Went through a successful neck surgery, but it was first reported to be a shoulder injury, right? And that is the only reason AJ hasn't signed yet. Man, it sucks, right? It sucks. That's the only reason he hasn't signed yet, man. And he hasn't passed any physicals or able to pass any physicals just as of yet. And the only thing that sucks about having to sign with a team so late in the season are the opportunities aren't as good as they would have been if AJ would have signed in the beginning of free agency. Man, it's like the lottery is right there, that ticket. You got all the numbers correct, but the system malfunctioned, you know? It's one of those situations, man. You pray, you ask God to keep you protected and things like that. And, you know, got to roll with the punches. And by the end of the season, or after free agency, or leading up to July training camp when AJ is supposed to sign, most teams have their rosters set and resources allocated. So it usually takes a team that will sign AJ is usually a team that's dealing with some type of injuries or something at the position, and they will sign him. But an insider, a little birdie, you know, my sources, you know, at the beginning of free agency, San Francisco was heavy. They was heavy on AJ at the start of free agency. And I know personally from our sources, like I said, in the front office, some people that work in the front office, they told me they was definitely heavy, extremely heavy on AJ, man. And he was one of their top free agents coming to the 2025 season. He was one of the top free agents that they wanted. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, man. And he couldn't pass a physical. But I expect AJ to be back this season, right where he left off last season. He will be back. Believe that. He'll be back. Bigger, better, stronger than ever. You know? And it's nothing like, man, living your dreams on your terms, playing football, NFL football, the game that you love. You know what I mean? Coming up in July, we're going to find out. We're going to see, man. But y'all keep AJ in your prayers. You know, keep him lifted. And we're going to see, man, how this go, man. AJ is ready to play ball. He love that football. Let me tell you one thing about it. You know what I mean? Chat, what y'all think, man? What team y'all want AJ to sign with, man? You got the Vikings interested in them Cardinals. I said the Vikings. You got the Saints, San Francisco. Man, so many teams interested in him, man. He's so versatile. He can play inside. He can play outside. So, you know, a lot of teams are very interested. And the thing about it, too, man, he played 4 seasons. When you play 4 seasons, that means you vested. So it's like you're in the system. So teams are ready to just grab you and put you on the team and, you know, go for it. So that's the update on AJ, my son, and status on the young man. And we'll see. We're going to see how it go. Yes, sir. You say bring him to the Bird game. I know that's right. But let's move on. Let's move on. Let's get to Shedeur Sanders, man. This Shedeur Sanders extravaganza continues. It's just going wild, right? Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel, man. These things are getting out of control. Everyone has an opinion about Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Even people that haven't even played football. You got rappers. You got basketball players, baseball players, hockey players, whoever think they got an opinion, they have something to say about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders has supporters in every race, size, color, sex, whatever, man. And everybody wants Shedeur to win, including myself. You know, we want to see Shedeur continue to be successful in the NFL just as he was successful in college. Now, Dylan Gabriel, on the other hand, he's receiving a lot of unnecessary criticism because of his competition, which is Shedeur Sanders. And it's not fair. But guess what? Life isn't fair. But it's especially not fair in the NFL. life in the NFL as an NFL player isn't fair at all. So can't have no pity for no one in the NFL. You're making tons, a lot of money, and it's up to you to go make a name for yourself. And then you have the Dylan Gabriel supporters, that speak up for Dylan Gabriel. And I don't know if they're out here if they're being honest with their opinions, or they're just being biased towards Dylan Gabriel because of whatever reason. But there were a few people observing minicamp and said Dylan Gabriel looked much better than Shedeur. Right? And when I heard that, man, all I could do is like shake my head. And it was somebody just came out of nowhere and was just like, man, Dylan Gabriel looked better than Shedeur in practice, and man, all over the place, man. Every day, in every facet of practice, of being a quarterback, right? But when it comes down to it, the only evaluation someone can really gather at rookie minicamp is how well a quarterback can throw the ball, the swag. Sure, I don't know how much you can really see at minicamp. And there isn't much competition to distinguish who is playing at a high level, So for someone to jump out there and just say that one looks much better than the other is, it's a long shot, right? Obviously, a lot of people are going to say that about Shedeur because Shedeur has the crazy following, you know what I mean? But whatever. Yeah, but everybody is making this whole thing about Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel. Shout out to the super chat. Yes, sir. I'm going to get to you in a few minutes. Yes, sir. You back. I see you, brother. Yeah. Now, one thing about the Cleveland Browns, this is the most hype they ever had since I've seen. They haven't had this much hype in forever. And guess what? They're only going to have one national televised game. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. But let's get to it. This is what the guy had to say. His name is Tony Grossi. Am I saying it right? Tony Grossi from Cleveland. And this is what he had to say about Dylan Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders. He says, I thought both days Dylan Gabriel looked a little bit better, Grossi said Monday via ESPN Cleveland. He throws a tighter spiral. He throws a beautiful ball. He's very assertive. He knows the pocket. You can tell that even though they're not rushing, he just has a pocket presence. Better arm strength than I thought. The numbers are the only thing that don't lie. You can say he's short. Yeah, he's 5'11", so he's short. I thought Gabriel was a little bit better both days. Doesn't mean Shedeur Sanders is a bust or anything. The other guy just looks better. Now, that's wild. At the end of the day, I don't think neither of these quarterbacks will be released or are not a part of the team come the 2025 season. That's just hard to see at this point, right? None of these quarterbacks will be released. Maybe someone will end up on the practice squad with the opportunity still to make the active roster and compete for a second string or third string on the depth chart, right? But after hearing all the Shedeur chatter about his draft selection, I come to believe that coaches did not want to deal with what they perceive to be a headache by drafting Shedeur Sanders as a top pick and the pressure from dealing with Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. That's what it's coming all down. I know I'm going left and right and left with my theories and things like that, but man, as more and more evidence and content comes out, it's just like, man, this is wild, And no offense to Dylan Gabriel, but I can't see how any scout could have Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders on the draft board and say, yes, I want to draft Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders. He is ahead of him on the draft board. Like, I really can't see that. Me being a football player and understanding the games and X's and O's, how could you have Dylan Gabriel on the draft board ahead of Shedeur, unless you're just going by execution. You know what I mean? Let me get this super chat real quick. Super chat, what they do? Super chat say, what is your opinion on Steve Smith's career, and what is Pac-Man Jones' issue with him? He says he never thought Steve Smith was a good receiver, but Steve used to cook him. You absolutely right, man. Pat, I'm gonna get into that, man. We'll talk about it a few. Pat-Man, a wild boy, man. Shout out to the super chat, man. Appreciate, man. Hey, motivation, man. Hey, everybody need a little motivation out there, man. But where was I at, man? It says, yeah, Dillon Gabriel, man. I can't really see any team having Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders on the draft board. And like I said, only if you're rating how they execute and, like they said in the article, be assertive as the leader on offense, But maybe there was one or two teams, that didn't feel Shedeur was better, right? That's possible. My guess is 90% of NFL teams were afraid of Coach Prime, the Coach Prime effect. It had to be, right? Because that was just weird what was going down. And that caused teams to shy away from Shedeur Sanders. And after hearing this audio, this is what brought me to my conclusion. Because this is wild, man. This is wild. But let's get to it.
Go pre-Josh Allen. Low sports self-esteem. And years ago, Buffalo, Ryan Fitzpatrick in Buffalo got AFC Offensive Player of the Month. And in October, they signed him to a 6-year contract. Oh, my God, somebody likes us. So Jimmy Haslam, who's got some money, he drafted Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, and Deshaun Watson. Those were his calls. Headlines. So Shedeur Sanders at the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3-day rookie minicamp, there's a lot of speculation. He wanted Shedeur Sanders. The staff drafted Dillon Gabriel, Oregon, 2 rounds earlier. And they were doing that not because they necessarily loved Dillon Gabriel. They liked him, but they thought it would stop their impulsive owner from forcing them to draft in round 4 Shedeur Sanders. So that's some of the speculation. I tend to believe it based on Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns' history. I don't think the Browns are going to be any good, but they're going to be interesting. And there's many elements of this team I love. I love the head coach. I love the GM. I love Myles Garrett. There's a lot of things about Cleveland I like. It's the upstairs thing. Look at this division. The better the owner, Cincinnati's is cheap. Steelers owner's Rooney's second poorest. Cleveland's is dysfunctional. Bisciotti's the richest, smartest, and winningest for 16 years.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds crazy. And I think we were speculating, and we assumed that the owner or something was going on. Somebody came in there and made them draft Shedeur Sanders. And y'all make sure we talk about, man, y'all make sure y'all remind me in the chat. We're going to talk about Pac-Man Jones and Steve Smith, and I'm gonna shed a little light on what's going on, man. Pac-Man is so funny. But man, after listening to that audio, man, this sounds like this Cleveland Brown team is lost, and they're lost in leadership because of the owner, right? And this is what I'm seeing from an owner. If this is exactly what happened, and he comes in there telling them to draft in the 4th round and 5th round, and probably wanted him in the 1st and 2nd. And he's probably one of those owners who retains the hype and perception from college players just like we do. He's probably trolling on social media, seeing the things that we see. And owners, let me tell you, owners, they're usually on part of evaluating players in the draft process. I think I told y'all that before. With the exception of guys like Jerry Jones, and we see how bad these teams are in the winning category for the past 10 years. So these owners who think they know what they're talking about and want to be a part of selecting players and evaluating players and things like that, we see what's going on with these teams, right? And yeah, this is bad. This is bad. And the bad teams who clearly have bad ownership are led, they have a bad leader from their owner, right? And these teams are Cleveland. That clearly shows. The Panthers, Cleveland traded everything away and gave everything to Deshaun Watson. Like Colin Cowherd said, yeah, they have a lot of money. You got Cleveland is horrible with leadership. Panthers is horrible. The Cowboys is fun and entertaining, but they're horrible in the winning category. And that's because of leadership. And then, these teams with these owners, they're not helping the teams become a winning team or a winning organization, right? They're probably good in business outside of football, but evaluating players and putting teams together, putting a leader in place to lead these teams, these teams, a lot of these owners have no clue. That's one thing about money, man. You see people with money and you expect them to know more than the average people or have some type of different leadership skills and be able to lead the people, man. Oh, man, don't let that money fool you, man. It could be a person with money could be as ignorant and dumb as the poorest motherfucker out here. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, bad leadership from the owners is going to always lead to a terrible team and not being able to win. And that is going to continue to happen with these teams, especially the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody is sick and tired of Jerry Jones, and he won't let it go. Now, I want to discuss Shedeur Sanders being a late round draft pick and letting y'all understand and see that there was also other teams that Shedeur Sanders could have possibly went to if he wouldn't have got drafted, right? And he would have ended up being an undrafted free agent like his brother. But there are some upside to being an undrafted free agent, right? Now, the difference in being a late round draft pick and being an undrafted free agent, right? Or being anything, being a top round draft pick, a late round oh man, I'm all over the place. Being a late round selection or whatever, right? A late round selection, I'm talking about 5th, 6th, 7th round, right? These players are typically considered extra bodies for training camp or special team players on the team, right? And their contract shows it. They typically don't have that much guaranteed money in their contracts, right? 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks. And the 5th round signing bonus from 2024, it ranged from $258,000 to $384,000, right? And the average signing bonus for a 6th round draft pick was $229,000. And the one negative about being drafted in later rounds is that player can't choose what team he wants to sign and play with. He is stuck to whoever drafted him. Now, for some undrafted free agents, the interest can be so high and the demand could be so high that a signing bonus can range in the range of a 5th, 6th, 7th round draft pick. So just imagine Shedeur Sanders would have been an undrafted free agent. 10, 11 teams are dying to have him on his team. You don't think his signing bonus would have been $200,000, $250,000, $300,000? Easily. Free agents are getting that aren't even quarterbacks that are in high demand, right? And the thing about being an undrafted free agent, these contracts are more negotiable. They have more leniency in negotiations. You know what I mean? Whereas 5th draft picks, their contracts are kind of slotted. So you look at last year's contract and then you give a 10% increase. That's typically how it goes. All right. And there are a few teams that's heading into training camp with a lot of competition at quarterback. I think it's about 4 teams that don't have their number one quarterback set. And if Shedeur, now don't get it twisted, I think Shedeur is in a great situation. I think he could end up starting 2nd string, 3rd string, or whatever. He's in a great situation to be able to compete. But if he wasn't drafted to Cleveland, he could have went to the Saints, who we obviously thought was going to take him. You got the Giants, you got the Colts, and obviously Cleveland. All these teams have competition at quarterback. There is no for sure number one quarterback on these teams. But like I said, Shedeur ended up in a cool situation. But where else could he have went that would have made everybody feel cool or like, okay, Shedeur is in a good spot and he he probably going to end up winning the position or starting and things like that. Only time to tell. We'll continue to see, man. We're going to continue to follow Shedeur Sanders, but that's just crazy how they get all this attention and recognition because of Shedeur Sanders, and man, no primetime games. But the NFL know better than us, man. They run their business how they run their business. We just spectators. We out here, man, just, enjoying the entertainment. That's what we do, baby. You know what I mean? What up, chat? What they do? I see the chat. I see LW in the building. I see, is that Cornlito Way? Hey, y'all let me know where y'all tapping in from, man, so I talk back to y'all, man. And we going to talk about Pac-Man Jones and Steve Smith Jr. at the end of this next segment. So y'all stay tuned, man. There's a lot of tension, and I don't know what they got going on. It's two angry dudes that don't like each other. For what reason? I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of it. But like I said, man, in the beginning, man, like I hope y'all miss me because I missed y'all too. You know what I mean? I was chilling. I had to take a little time off. We got prom coming up tomorrow with the daughter. You got to do all type of things, man. Hey, when y'all decide to have some kids out there, man, y'all go have some boys, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay on the top or is it the bottom? How do you have a boy? Whatever you need to do it that way so you have a boy, because these girls, you got to pay for hair done. You got to pay for the dress. You got to get the rental cars, and you got to get the nails done. It just never stops. It never, ever stops. You know what I mean? And then after that, they're having a party at the house. It's all over the place, man. I don't even tell you how much money I done spent, babe. But when your children doing good, they listen, they do the right thing, they make good grades, get scholarships. Ultimately, you know what I mean? They get them scholarships. You got to treat them right, man. You got to treat them kids right, man. But like I said, man, Shannon Sharp, old granddaddy Unc, y'all know I got to give old Unc Shannon Sharp a hard time. And Shannon Sharp, man, he going through it out there. If y'all can't see, mentally, it's weighing on him. It's weighing down. Yeah, and I'm going to give him a hard time because he gave me a hard time. He wouldn't even give me a fair chance. So I'm on his back forever. I'm on his neck. He don't know who he was dealing with. Now he learned. A lot of people don't know who they dealing with out here because I wasn't really out here in the media. They don't know I talk that shit. I talk that shit forever because I love it. This is what I've been doing since 3rd grade. Lauderdale Lakes Park. If y'all ever come to Fort Lauderdale, ever be in Broward County, make sure y'all visit the legendary Lauderdale Lakes Vikings Park. You hear me? Make sure y'all visit that park. So many legends, so many NFL players have came out of that park and came from that organization, that little league team. You know what I mean? So y'all come visit it. Come say what's up. Come see the legendary field, man. It saved my life and it saved a lot of other people's life, man. You know what I mean? L's up in the building. You know what I mean? Hey, but Shannon Sharp, man, he going through it out here, man. And like I say, something about them complex people with them complex, superior complex. One thing about them. But one thing about all of us is we can't run from that mirror. That mirror on the wall, the little mirror that you have in your bathroom or in your closet when you're getting ready, we can't run from that mirror. It's going to tell you, me, and whoever else the truth when we see ourselves in that mirror. When we look in that mirror and see ourselves, we can't run from the truth. And that's what Shannon Sharp is going through. We know exactly who we are, our flaws, and everything we have going on. We know the negatives, the positives, the ins and outs about ourselves. Whether we want to face reality, that's a different story. Now, the things that Granddaddy Unc, y'all know that's what I call him, Granddaddy Unc, Shannon Sharp, is what he is going through. This isn't nothing new he hasn't dealt with before in the past. He's been going through these type of things for a while now, and we all heard that these type more and more things come out, right? But here's the issue, because he rather continue to live in denial and not face the fact that his behavior isn't acceptable out here in society. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're successful and you got a lot of money, you can control people with your opportunities and your wealth and resources and things like that. And you might get away with it because people need opportunity. you know? And the one thing about rumors, man, when there's a history and so many rumors continue and over and over, and you're hearing things after things and allegations coming out, you know, some things tend to be true. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of times these things are true. Some not true, some are true. And that high horse, y'all ever heard someone say that high horse, that term? Y'all ever heard somebody use that term? Hey, you better get off that high horse. You know, somebody gonna come humble you. That was a term we used to use in New England, man. See somebody feeling themselves, maybe they had a good game. I see you riding on that high horse over there. The next thing you know, they be humble real quick, man. Something humble them. You know what I mean? But that high horse that Shannon Sharp lives on, and he thrive on that high horse. He got one of the highest horses we done seen out here. You know what I mean? He got the high horse. He think he is motherfucking Shannon Sharp, who he is. But who Shannon Sharp is, he times 10 in his mind, you know what I mean? And yeah, Shannon Sharp, he has that superior complex, like I said before. It's that cocky, arrogant, I'm better than you attitude. And that's what I'm talking about. You got to go look in the mirror. Because there's so many negative things about all of us that we can correct and we can face and try to be better. Every day I ask God, when I pray to God, I ask God to make me better. That's it. I don't, what else can I ask for? There's not much to pray for unless you want to be selfish, right? I ask God to make me better in all facets of my life, right? And yeah, that's Shannon Sharp's problem. He's feeling superior. He feels superior towards everyone, his community, his peers. And that shit'll catch up with you, man. That shit catches up with people. Feeling that superior complex, you having that superior complex, feeling superior all over, above everybody, that shit'll catch up with you. That's real deal, Holyfield. No, man, this ain't no liquor. I ain't feeling it yet. This ain't no liquor. Let me show y'all what I'm drinking. Let me show y'all what I'm drinking. Y'all don't laugh at me now. Y'all see that? Yeah, y'all see that. Don't act like y'all ain't never had a little ginger ale in y'all life. Sometimes you need a little spice in your mouth, you know what I mean? Instead of a soda, I don't want no soda, man. You can pour a soda in your battery, in the battery in your car, and that shit clean the fucking battery off. I don't want to drink no more soda. Tired of soda. But back to old Granddaddy Ump, man. You know, old Granddaddy Ump, he had a lot of success over the years after his NFL career, football career ended, right? He had a lot of success, and he's been climbing his way up and up the ladder. So when you do those things, you feel pretty good. You feel empowered. But do y'all realize what typically comes with success, right? If you go out there, anyone of y'all in the chat, go out there and become highly successful running a Fortune 500 company. I mean, the CEO of Apple or something, you know, you build a business from scratch and created a $20 million a year business. You know what comes with that success? Entitlement, power, tons of resources, people wanting to be attached to you, and so on. There's so many things. And that stuff makes people feel obligated to certain things in life. And let's listen. Shannon Sharp.
A couple of notable sound bites. Listen to what Shedeur on critics saying that he didn't have the talent to be selected at the top of the draft. Let's take a listen to what Shedeur had to say, Ocho.
NFL quarterback you could be.
I mean, thank you for saying that, because I don't like, my job here isn't to prove people wrong. Like, I prove myself right. That's and I fully have self-belief, you know, and what those people say, that's just their opinion. So I don't truly care. They don't really live in my mental space about that type of stuff. It really doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I like that. And that's what I tell people. Your job is not to prove somebody wrong. It's your job to prove yourself right. And if you prove yourself right, in the process of proving you right, you'll prove them wrong. And that's the thing that, you know, you have to learn. And it's been a process.
Prove yourself right, huh? and you prove everybody wrong, proving yourself right. No matter if you're wrong or right, as long as you prove yourself right, you could, whatever. Let me admit this.
Stop worrying about what people that don't know you think.
I think a lot of people have.
Stop worrying about that, because Ocho, you heard me say this. All I want people to love. I just need the people that I love to love me.
Come on now.
See, you trying to, and you know, obviously, the elephant is not in the room. He outside, but everybody knows what I'm going through. A lot of people have a lot to say, but as my brother been calling me, a lot of people, and thank you all, everybody that's reached out and the thoughts and prayers. I sincerely appreciate that. But when you think about it, Ocho, man, 50% of the people don't care that you got problems. The other 50% glad you got them.
Come on, Pastor.
So now what?
Pastor? Take your time.
I agree with Shedeur. I'm not worried about it.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. But one thing, when you start going through and having problems in life, boy, one thing about people, boy, they always find that way to that God, the God, bro. They start preaching and all, boy, every time, it never fails. Every time someone going through something, and I'm not talking about Shannon Sharp religious background and is he saved and whatnot, but it's just funny. You know, that church stuff don't come out until you need it. You know, you got to show God that you with him all the time, not just when you need him, because you need him all the time. You know what I mean? Now, Shannon Sharp up here trying to act like he ain't worried about what people think about him. Ain't this ironic, right? This guy's out here talking about prove the people right and don't be worried about what people think. Now he know that we all want people, or we all want to be judged by our peers as good people. We want to appear to be good people to our community, to our peers, to our friends, everybody around us. We don't want people out here saying terrible, horrible things about us and tearing up our reputation. That's not what you want. That, you know, what good would that do? You know? And no one wants to have a bad reputation and feel unwanted. Shannon Sharp, what is he talking about? He's only talking about what situation he is going through. He's back to his superior complex. And he don't even understand it. He's back to having that superior complex. And without that superior complex, with that superior complex, without any opportunities, people will start to speak up and tell how they really feel about you. When you provide opportunities to these people and people around you, whether it's resources, money, or whatever materialistic things, they may keep quiet or might not feel as bad as they should feel because the opportunities that has been provided. But when you treat people with respect and love, and you treat everybody how you want to be treated, you know, the majority of people going to have good things to say about you, regardless. You know what I mean? And that's the end of the day. That's what it's about. That's what I mean by Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp. When I started off talking about this, about looking in the mirror. We got to look in the mirror. Me, the worst thing I think I can ever do, and I think people do is as humans, as adults, or just humans, period, is to point the finger and blame someone else first for something that is going on instead of looking directly at themselves first. That's exactly what I do. I teach my kids that. I teach my family that. Everyone that I'm a leader of. Before you start blaming things or trying to point the finger, you always look at what you could have done first or what you can do to make the situation better. You understand? And if everybody did that, man, the world would be a better place, man. It'd be a better place. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, man, anybody know about coconuts up there, man? Everything is closing down. Is that happening to y'all? Rick, you still on there? Rick the vegan barber? They closed down my favorite food spot, Coconuts. It was the only place I could get me some clean, nice some clean eating food. I ain't got to worry about all these steroids injected. They trying to feed me all the sugar and stuff like that. It was really real good, healthy food. But I see, man, a few people in the chat doesn't understand or didn't know AJ Asante Samuel Jr. is my son. Yeah, man. Surprise to the people in the chat. Clap it up. Yeah, man. The Samuel household, man. We putting out, man. We putting them out, man. We got girls, we got boys, we got football, we got track, we got scholars, we got athletes, man. You know, we got a little mini basketball team. It's how many of us in the bunch? Is it 5 or 6? I think it's 6. 5 girls, 1 boy. That's the Samuel household. But hey, back to NA, man, in the super chat, man, he said, let's go back to the question. They're going to say, man, what is your opinion on Steve Smith's career and what is Pac-Man Jones' issue with him? He says he never thought Steve Smith was a good receiver, but Steve used to cook him. Yeah, man, you're absolutely right, man. Steve Smith definitely is good. Steve Smith is a Hall of Famer. And it's a difference. One negative I would say about Steve Smith, he wasn't a crisp route runner. He wasn't the top tier route runner. His route running wasn't that good at all, right? But the thing about it, he was a dog. Steve Smith, he didn't have to run great routes. Just because you don't run a great route, that doesn't mean the cornerback is going to be stealing the ball or taking the ball or breaking on your balls differently than anything else, right? But once they throw him the ball and he gets the ball, he's going to make plays. He's a dog. He's going to have so much yak going on. He's going to bring a lot of energy to his team when he catches the ball. And that passion that he plays with is unmatched. When you have passion on your team and players like that wants to win the way Steve Smith wanted to win, that stuff is contagious and it trickles down to the team. So Steve Smith, man, was a hell of a player, hell of a leader, hell of a teammate, all those things. He was a dog. He was a straight dog. He's one of those players. If y'all haven't heard the story in a team meeting, I think it was a DB out there talking trash or something. Didn't want to listen, wasn't being respectful. Steve Smith got up just like one of the leaders, the vets on the team, punched him right in his nose. Homeboy had to go and get some plastic surgery on his nose. Had to get a plastic surgery on his nose because of Steve Smith. So that's the type of player Steve Smith was. Straight dog, man. Straight dog. But what is their beef? I don't know, man. Pac-Man just got beef sometime, man. I don't know what type of beef it is, if it's just, we having fun or if it's real serious beef. But a lot of these times, man, people just like to go back and forth on social media and keep it like that, because Pac-Man wild, man. Pac-Man wild. Pac-Man to go through with anybody, but he likes that energy. That's the type of energy he says he like, man. And he talk about fighting. He like to fight. So, he comes from a fighting family. What it do, chat? Marlon, you in the building. Marlon, a little late tonight, man. How you doing out there, man? If y'all haven't heard the noodles, Asante Samuel Jr., which is my son, yes, he will be back this season. He was out. He's undergoing successful surgery. And yeah, man, what else going on out there, man? Caleb Williams, man. Did y'all hear the situation with Caleb Williams? Man, it's crazy. Caleb Williams and this trend that Archie Manning, the Manning started, man. And people think they can go out there and do what the Mannings did, right? If y'all didn't know, man, the Manning family, specifically Archie Manning, he has built a false narrative how the number 1 draft pick think it's possible to dictate how or when they would get drafted or where they would get drafted to. And they fighting against $1 billion a year company. And they think they can tell $1 billion a year, billions of dollars a year company what to do and how to run their business. And if you didn't know, man, Eli Manning, he was drafted the number 1 overall pick, what, in 2004, right? Eli was drafted in 2004, number 1 overall pick. But being that San Diego Chargers had that number 1 overall pick, and they were responsible for taking Eli Manning, Archie Manning stepped right in and said, no way. He said, my son is not going to the San Diego Chargers. And when that day happened, when Eli Manning walked across the stage to get drafted. And, it was a little funny vibe. But less than an hour after getting drafted, Eli was traded to San Diego Chargers in exchange for Phillip Rivers. That was one of the craziest draft days ever. And now you see over and over, you see many other players that are potential number one draft picks try to implement the same strategy that the Mannings did, thinking it's possible. If they don't know, man, Archie Manning, man, he has some type of secret connection with the NFL. That's the only reason that happened, And now the Mannings got everybody thinking it's possible. And Caleb Williams come out and talk about him and his father, talk about how they wanted to force a trade and get out of Chicago because, Chicago is the death hole for quarterbacks, rightfully so. But hey, man, congrats to Caleb Williams. He toughed it out for 1 year, and they got Ben Johnson, man. Ben Johnson is going to come over there. He's going to do a great job. And they say Chicago Bears haven't had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of the organization. That should change. That probably changed now. And the Bears, I really predict the Bears to be really good. They got a tough conference, right? They got the Lions, they got the Vikings, you got Green Bay, and then you got the Bears. So it's an uphill battle in that conference. But I think Caleb Williams, man, he has what it takes. And that defense was playing good. But yeah, man, it's like monkey see, monkey do out here, man. It's a copycat world. That's the one thing I learned from Belichick. You see one person do something, you automatically think you could do it. So they thought they had the power of Archie Manning. Everybody, all these number one picks think they got the same power. Even Coach Prime was talking about it. If my son is selected here, this and that, I'm not going to allow him to go to this team. But hey, man, those are different type of resources. That's a different type of animal. Archie Manning is well connected in the NFL. So yeah. So that's Thursday night vibes. Asante Samuel Jr., that's my son. If y'all ain't know, man, that's him. And yeah, Shedeur Sanders is going to end up being the starter. Only time to tell. It's a good possibility. He has a great opportunity, great chance. And let me see what else we're saying in the chat. I see a lot of people say they're praying for AJ in the chat, man. We appreciate that, man. Give him, keep him lifted in your prayers. He can use all the prayers possible. You know what I mean? Good kid. He just loved to play football, That's all he wanted to do. That's all he wants to do. Came out as a junior out of Florida State, baby. I ain't get to come out as a junior. I was a senior. So, he got me on that one. One up on me on that one. So, one last question. It says, Asante, when did you know in your high school, maybe Kyle's career, that you were a pro? Said, when did I know in your high school, maybe college career, that I was going to be a pro? Actually, let me tell y'all, man, y'all know Florida, South Florida specifically, man, is like the mecca of football and athletes and things like that. So, during the off season, when football season was in for high school and college, all of us would get together and we would practice together, do one-on-ones with each other, right? There would be sometime it'd be NFL players, not top NFL players, but it'd be NFL players. There would be top Division I college players, and there'd be the top high school players, and I was one of them. And we'll be out there doing one-on-ones and covering. You have a quarterback, you have the wide receiver, and you have the DBs. And I was out there going at it with these college players, and I had just started playing cornerback. I was a quarterback my whole life, so I had just switched to cornerback. So I didn't have that much experience, but we was out there going one-on-ones, and I was just killing them. And I was just dogging them out. Like, they couldn't really catch anything on me, right? It was one-on-ones. One-on-ones is typically a disadvantage for the cornerback. It's 2-on-1 because you got the quarterback and the receiver. And that gave me so much confidence, but at the same time, I didn't want to get too overconfident. That's what I like to say, man. Don't never get beside yourself. I didn't want to get too overconfident because I felt like that those receivers out there that day wasn't that fast and athletic and as quick as probably what I'm going to face. So I didn't really let it go to my head, but it let me know, like, bro, if this is the competition you're going to face when you get to college and on the next level, man, you're going to be awesome. So that's kind of when I learned and started to understand that I was going to be awesome and pro in college and all that stuff, man. But shout out to NA, man, for the super chat, man. He always come through, man, showing love. So Thursday night vibes, man. It was a good time hanging out with y'all tonight. You know, hopefully I'll be back soon. I want to come back tomorrow, but we'll see how things going to go. I got to get ready for prom, sending the baby girl off. She's going to University of Florida. We doing it big. She deserves it all. So y'all, man, y'all watch out for the pictures and stuff. Follow me on Instagram. Y'all follow me on TikTok. All the social media. Say what needs to be said. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications, hit that bell icon so you can always know when I'm going live, because y'all got to feel this energy right here, man. Say what needs to be said is Mr. Pick 6, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro, record-breaking cornerback. That's me. We out.